Chair. I'm glad to be here proposing a motion to support the Climate and Ecology Bill, which addresses the full extent of the climate and nature crisis in line with the most up-to-date science and the commitments this country has already made. The bill is the only one before the UK Parliament that ensures a comprehensive and joined-up approach to the crisis, linking climate and nature, and that requires a strategy by which we can, step by step, get to where we need to be. The bill fundamentally does three things. On climate, it requires the government to reduce the UK's greenhouse gas emissions, including imported emissions, aviation and shipping, at a rate that is actually consistent with limiting the global mean temperature increase to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels, as we've already agreed in the Paris Agreement. On nature, the bill requires the UK government to halt and reverse the UK's overall contribution to the degradation and loss of nature in the UK and overseas by 2050. That's different to the Environment Bill, which doesn't say anything about reversing the damage already done. The third point is about building consensus. The bill would enable citizen engagement by setting up a temporary climate and nature assembly, chosen like a jury and representative of the nation as a whole. Because this might be the least familiar element, I'll just say here that we've already had one of these, but it was in 2020. So the Business Select Committee has said they found its findings an important addition to government evidence, and Alok Sharma called it the very best of civil society. I'm not going to stand here lecturing everybody about the climate emergency. I'm sure you've all read the supporting statements to this motion. We've all seen the charts, we've experienced or seen on TV the increasingly common famines, crop failures, heat waves and floods all over the world, and we felt them here too. We all find it hard to think about where this might be going. And I think we all know too that it is the poorest of nations and the poorest and most vulnerable within each nation who will feel the effects soonest and most tragically. But what I want to tell you is why this particular bill is needed and why we, as West Oxfordshire District Council, should be supporting it and proclaiming our support of it. First, the Committee on Climate Change has recommended that net zero policy is embedded across all levels and departments of government, and the committee's chair, Lord Devon, formerly John Selwyn Gummer, has said that all local authorities must be intimately involved if we are to achieve our national targets. Second, we have a duty to show community leadership. We have pioneers in West Oxfordshire, Farm Ed and Bruin Farms leading the way on regenerative agriculture, Project Leo in Ensham showing what can be done with local energy systems. We even have the country's top expert in connecting renewable energy to the grid, Roadknight Taylor, operating from Burford. Not to mention an army of plumbers and electricians just waiting for the call for us to step up the effort. We owe it to these pioneers, many of whom have themselves signed up to support this bill, to show that we are taking our part of the challenge seriously. We know it's difficult, but what if, just suppose next time we try to put a requirement into a housing development that it should be net zero, as at Salt Cross, what if, instead of the government's inspector telling us we can't, what if she said, well done, you've obeyed the law? The government's net zero strategy has been deemed unlawful by the High Court and needs to be rewritten. This bill has strong support, and the more councillors and organisations that endorse it, the more emboldened the government could be to address the crisis more urgently. This is why the motion includes a proposal to write to our MP, which, in case it isn't clear in the motion, would be a letter from the leader of the council. Over 150 parliamentarians from all parties have already signed up. In Oxfordshire, the County Council, Oxford City, South Oxfordshire, Vale of the White Horse have all passed motions similar to this, supporting the bill. In Vale of the White Horse, Conservative leader Simon Howell said that the Vale Conservatives were proud to support the motion and that it has never been more important to ensure meaningful action is now taken at all levels of government to enshrine our commitments to future generations. In West Oxfordshire, about 20 town and parish councils are supporting this bill, including Bryce Norton, Burford, Charlbury, Chipping Norton, Enston and Witney. 150 Oxfordshire-based businesses and voluntary organisations have supported the bill, including Burford Garden Company, Farm Ed, Bruin Farms, Ella's Kitchen. Surely, showing our support as a council is the least we can do for these organisations and for all our residents in order to keep them safe and manifest the community leadership with which we are tasked. Thank you.